My name, as always, is Oladele Dosunmu.
Oh,
I'm the Castle. My name is Oladele Dosunmu. I'm the co-founder of Emerging Alkebulan. Today we have a collaborative offering for you guys. Myself from Emerging Alkebulan. We got Nduku from Kumbukeni, and we got my sister Chioma from Msingi, Afrika. Today's topic is a very important topic to Africa, because if you follow us for the last few days, we've been talking about this. The dangers that the GMO seeds brings to Africa is basically a very crucial topic. That's why we're addressing this today. So please, as you join the stream, invite people. This is a very, very, very important topic. The information we're going to bring today is basically scientific, and also we have people on the ground who know what they're talking about. Also, there's meant to be a fourth person here today, Rutendo Matinyarere. He's not here today, but hopefully he will join us.
He's not here yet. Mm-hmm.
He's not here yet, but he's coming. So I've introduced myself. My name is Oladele Dosunmu. I'm the co-founder of Emerging Alkebulan. And basically what we're about is decolonizing the minds of our people and awakening our consciousness. Basically, we need to wake up from the miseducation and the indoctrination that we've all been going through. Nduku.
Asante sana. Karibuni. The name is Nduku. I am the host on Kumbukeni and a co-host with Oladele Dosunmu on our collaborations that we do every 2 weeks. Today, like he said, this is a very important conversation. To me, this is the biggest threat that Nsia Ubuntu and Wana Ubuntu Africans are facing today. If we do not have food, if we do not have healthy food, we might as well forget technology, transportation, economy, and all those other things we worry about. Because as long as our plate is not nourishing us and we are dying from hunger, or we are dying from whatever illnesses that the food that they're giving us is causing us, then it doesn't matter how many innovations they come up with in all the other fields. So I am here today for this, looking forward to the solutions that we're going to come up with. Santeni.
Thank you.
We lost Chioma. Yes.
Okay. One of our co-hosts is basically going through some technical problems. Give me a second. Let me see if I can get her back.
But in the meantime, we can have Dr. Njemanze introduce himself.
Okay, Doctor. Prof.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah,
please.
good. Hello.
We can hear you.
My name is Professor Phillips Njemanze. I'm the chairman of the International Institute of Advanced Research and Training, Chelicon Medical Center here in Owerri, Imo State. It is great to be here this evening with all the folks, and we'll have a chat on the topic on.
Okay.
Thank you.
You cut off Professor Njemanze as he was finishing, but we can go ahead.
I'm just got okay. Chioma's back. Okay, Chioma, you want to introduce yourself, sis?
Hello. Okay.
Hello, Chioma. All right, Kola, if you want to go.
okay. My name is Nasiru Kola.
Sorry, Kola.
Am I?
Yeah, carry on, boss.
My name is Nasiru Kola. I'm an agriculturist from Oyo State, Nigeria. I'm passionate about the food safety and security of my people in Alkebulan, and I'm glad to be part of this program.
Thank you very much, my brother. And then Adeola, if you want to go next, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening. My name is Adeola, Dr. Adeola, and generally, I'm into primate and human genetics and also environmental conservation, the importance of the biodiversity, which is my own core research area. And I'm privileged to be here this afternoon, and let's see how much we'll be able to discuss and the solution we can provide to the problem in our environment. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Chioma, how are we doing, sis? Okay, while we're sorting out Chioma, Prof.
Chioma, try going without, because they've seen you. Try going without video. Try without video. today we're going to give up aesthetics for productivity of conversation.
Yeah, we got a lot to share. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Guys,
try coming
we're
in
not
without
looking for
video,
perfection
Chioma.
today.
All right, go ahead, Oladele.
Okay, Prof, I'm gonna let you go first. If you want to speak to your topic, and then yeah. Oops.
Oh snap! Did you
Okay.
was that on our end?
It just went. Okay, it's back.
Oh goodness.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
Prof is back.
Yeah. Okay. I can
Okay,
hear you
Prof.
now.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, we'll let you go, sir.
So, okay. So, would you want would you want me to start?
Yeah, you can
Yes,
start,
please.
sir.
Okay, good. So welcome. The technology allows us today. First and foremost, before I go into the topic of GMO, and I'd like you to understand the problem, the major problem, why this is a lifeline for the Western countries, and then a lifeline for Africa. Now, what really happened? In 2005, Tony Blair hosted the G7 countries. And the issue was, what is the way forward for Western countries to sustain their economies? Now, during this meeting, they came up that they have to move on to what is called the human industry. The human industry will change the medicine we practice today. What then will be in its place? That will be the use of cloning. Cloning is basically if somebody is having a heart disease, what I can do in this laboratory I have here is echocardiography. That means we just put the heart as I'm visual with ultrasound, and I can take a small needle, what we call a biopsy needle, go directly into the heart and take a few cells from it. When I take these few cells heart, I can now send it to a biotech company somewhere in Europe. Biotech company will take these few cells, and when they take these few cells, they can take out the nucleus that contains the genetic material and put it in an egg of a woman. But they will remove the egg in that woman's original ovarian egg. So when they put it, they will put it in a cell culture. When they put it in a cell culture, that's now zygote will now grow into organ, which will be exactly the heart of my patient. And I can now implant that heart in the patient. This is the future of medicine. That means we will not be giving drugs for, we will just be giving people new organs, because that new organ that has been cloned will be exactly the same tissue type as the patient. There will be no incompatibility because it is the genetic material. Now, the problem is, who will allow you to take the eggs? Britain passed an
Did we just lose Dr. Njemanze? You're muted, Oladele.
Hi, Prof. He's here. We've got him on one. Yeah, we just lost him there for a minute.
Dr. Njemanze, do you hear us? To all who are listening, just bear with us today
Guys,
because
just bear with us. Guys, going to be very, very patient because the internet connection we're in actually basically my prof is in Owerri, Nigeria, and the internet connection is a bit bouncy. So we're gonna have to bear with us. This information that we're trying to give you today is actually very, very crucial, important, and it's trying to give us a perspective as to how we got here.
so
So,
he
yeah, go on.
Oladele, here goes us pulling our bootstraps. Why don't we let Dr. Adeola go now and
Yeah.
then text Dr. Njemanze and tell him he's gonna go last,
Yeah, that's fine.
please. Dr. Adeola, I've been looking forward to you speaking. Like all these connections, I don't know why these people are bothering me. Please go so that now I can hear it. Let me mute.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, I mean, whatever time that you are at your various location, and I'm so glad. Thank you for having me today. My name is Adeola Oluwakemi Ayoola, and I'm here to discuss an important topic that affects us all, exploring the danger of GMO and biodiversity. Why am I interested in biodiversity? Because I'm a researcher with a keen interest in environmental conservation. And I believe that it's very, very crucial that we understand the potential impact of genetically modified, whether food, whether organism, in our ecosystem. Today, I'm not only looking at the crops, I'm interested in the animal because my interest encompasses biodiversity. Now, someone will ask me, what is biodiversity? Now, millions of years of evolution and cohabitation
Hello, can you hear me?
have.
Well, hello,
Hold
can you
on,
hear me?
Dr. Adeola. Dr. Njemanze, I'm gonna mute you. We're going to have Dr. Adeola present,
Okay,
and then you'll come
you can
next.
hear me now. Can you
Yes,
hear me
but you'll wait
now?
until Dr. Adeola is done. All right. Oladele, please take care of that. Like, please, like, pick up your phone and call him. I can't hear you. You're muted. Because I'm about to go warrior woman right now, as you can see behind me. Please, Dr. Adeola, go on.
So now, someone might be interested in what biodiversity is all about. Yes, millions of years of evolution and cohabitation of human, of animals have left a lot of abundant life on the planet. Now, what is biodiversity? It includes all Earth's living organisms, the animals, the plants, the soil microorganism, which I'm going to emphasize more on today, the bacteria, the fungi, to the insect, to the butterfly. And all of this has genetic variation which within their species, and the ecosystem is the habitat to all of them. So therefore, the ecosystem in itself is very, very complex. Now, I want you to take note of this, that the presence or absence of a single organism, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, it plays an important role in the balance of nature. Now, just imagine, just imagine a food web without a particular organism. Now, the significant issue about impact of GMO on biodiversity, because someone will ask, okay, why should I be concerned about the impact on biodiversity? Because we are part of the diversity of life. We human, we are part of this biodiversity. Now, as an important non-target species, such as insects and soil organisms, are very crucial in maintaining the ecosystem health, the health of the ecosystem. Now, most of the time we are bothered about, oh, monkeypox, COVID. Ask me the origin. Now, I'm doing some research on malaria, on HIV. HIV is from primate. It's SIV in primate, simian immune deficiency virus. And that's what evolved into HIV to human. Now, malaria as well is zoonotic. COVID is from where? Now, whether we like it or not, much more than us being concerned about the disease that comes from the crop itself, the problem that we are causing to the biodiversity as a result of the GMO, it's another bigger problem. not even the crop itself that we consume. Yeah, we have a very big problem. Now we have another bigger problem. Now, for instance, an example is that some GMO crops are engineered to produce certain toxins so that they will be able to target some specific pest. And when this pest are they say, okay, we want to target for yam. There's something in Yoruba that are called tashu tashu. I don't know how to put that. That was what came to my mind now. So they will probably a genetically engineered food to ensure that that doesn't happen to the yam. Now, as you are doing that, you are targeting that pest. But whether you like it or not, all other insects in the ecosystem that are very, very essential are being destroyed. And it will definitely cause a very vital issue to the food web. Now, the problem about biodiversity is that if one link is removed, I believe many of us in secondary school or primary school, we did something called food web, is interwoven. If a link is removed, like if a specific insect is destroyed from the ecosystem as a result of, insecticide resistant, pest resistant crop, this blah blah, the animal that eats on the insect might struggle to find food and their population could decline. And this will in turn affect the animal that prey on them. And like that, that's how it goes. On the flip side, introducing a new organism, whether animal or plant, into the environment can cause a lot of disruption. Now, let me say it in simple terms. Nature is like a giant. Look at a puzzle that is interconnected. If one piece is missing, and the whole picture can change in a very unexpected way. And that's the reason why, like I mentioned, the smallest creature, which is insects, is very important in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. Now I'm going to focus on one example. Look at the eagles, especially the bald eagle. They are known to scavenge on dead animals by feeding on carcass. They help to prevent the spread of infectious disease that could arise from the carcass that were left to decay. For instance, disease like anthrax, rabies can thrive in decomposing animal remains. They thrive, whether animal or human remains. But scavengers like eagles play a very crucial role in removing this potential problem from the environment. And these eagles are often they are indicators, bioindicators, because their presence or their absence can signal the head of the ecosystem. Now, why is it important? Eagles are very, very sensitive to environmental toxins that comes from GMO, such as pesticide, heavy metals that comes from production of petrol and all of that. Now, if the population of eagles decline, we're in trouble. Now, if we do not detect the sign of early contamination, they could easily harm other species. Those carcass, toxins coming out from a lot of things coming out from there, and the decline of this species will lead to a lot of contamination of the environment, and it will in turn affect human health. Now, to generally say that this organism that feeds on carcass, they prevent infectious disease, and if this species decline as a result of the introduction of GMO crops to the environment, the breakdown of carcass will slow down, and then it will leach. Carcass will leach into the soil. It will leach into your water. We drink. We are not even eating the GMO food directly now. Let's say you say, "Oh, I want to avoid it. I don't want to. I don't want to advocate. I don't want to. I don't want to speak out. I'm going to buy the expensive food that is not GMO. I mean, genetically modified. What about the water that you drink? What about the soil? What about the air that you breathe?" So then, it is important that we understand all of this, that any disruption to the ecosystem through the introduction of this GMO crop could have serious effects on the ecosystem health, ultimately affecting human health and well-being. Now, let's look at some basic examples of GMO impacts on biodiversity. I believe we have someone here that is, I mean, very versatile in that area that will talk about it, which is bro, Mr. Yinka, I think I forgot the name, who is a farmer,
A Kola. It's Kola.
Mr. Kola, who is a great one. So, one of the example of the impact of GMO on biodiversity, it causes monoculture and loss of crop diversity. And for example, there's something, this BT corn is a genetically modified corn. And they ensure that they make this particular species of corn to be able to resist some pest. And this kind of practice reduces biodiversity, which is very crucial for maintaining resilient agricultural system. Now, the widespread of this corn in areas in the developed world where they have been planting all of this has led to a large area of farmland to be to be with exclusively single crop, and this will definitely reduce the genetic biodiversity of corn being grown in that area. And now the problem is that that particular species that is bt toxin resistant will in turn, because I deal with genetics evolution, they will evolve. Some of the pests that they were resistant to will evolve. That's one thing about, have you thought of it that sometimes when you spray your repellent against mosquito, they still bite you? What happened? Evolution has happened. They look at it that be deceiving yourself. That's insecticide. It did not mean that it's going to harm. I'm still going to drink your blood and eat your flesh. That's exactly what is going to happen when all of these things has been introduced into the environment. They in turn become resistant, and evolution of new pests. So now you say you are solving a particular problem and you are causing more problem. That's the point. Now, at some point, the pests eventually become resistant to the BT toxins, and this can lead to reducing biodiversity in agricultural landscape. The second impact, the reason why we should be concerned about the GMO on our environment is alteration in adaptation to various environmental conditions. GMO crops can cross-pollinate with wide relatives. Imagine in Africa, we have a very healthy, our land is healthy, we have good weather, we have the best of the food, and now just because we want to belong or whatever, or to have a very large yield, we are now introducing something. Now, you are contaminating the original relative of that particular species in that particular place, because gene flow happens, unintended gene flow, spread of modified genes. And this gene flow can alter the genetic makeup of that wild species, potentially leading to imbalance ecosystem. Now, an example is what happened in Mexico, the center of origin for maize. Studies have detected a lot of transgenes from GMO maize into their local maize variety, which was unintended. And because of the introduction of GMO, a variety of maize, they have destroyed their own heritage, their own local variety. So, and this would definitely threaten the genetic biodiversity of maize, which has been cultivated for thousands of years, something that you have had for thousands of years, just because as a result of introduction of a strange a strange stuff, then you have destroyed all of that. And then the next point I'm going to emphasize on is the evolution of herbicide resistant weed. Oh, let's say some GMO crops are engineered to be resistant to specific herbicides. Why these allow farmers to use herbicide to control weed without harming the crop? For example, there's a particular herbicide that is produced. You wanted to spray so that, oh, the weeds around my crops will be killed, but it will not affect my crop. Okay. It has led to the evolution of habitat resistant weeds called superweeds. You will realize that, oh, oh, this today or this year, I try to use this herbicide. I try to use herbicide to do this to destroy the weeds. Next year, you will try it. You will use 100 gallons, and nothing will happen. So now this is it's I mean the genetic makeup of the plants, the insects and everything around the environment is just being destroyed. And whether we like it or not, human is evolving. All other biodiversity are evolving, even to the tiniest insect and tiniest butterfly. So now, it what you are trying to avoid introducing a very strange thing into the environment, you will realize that these weeds will just outcompete your crop and it will become difficult to control, leading to increased use. When you realize that you're supposed to use 2 liter and you try it because evolution has happened, the super weed have evolved. It tends to use more chemical, and you are destroying the soil, you are destroying the environment, and then you are reducing biodiversity in the agricultural landscape. Now, the next point, impacts on pollinator population and diversity. Now, the use of certain GMO crop, particularly those associated, like I mentioned, high herbicide use, can lead to reduction in the availability of flowering plants that pollinator rely on food. And this will contribute to the decline of pollinator population. For example, in North America, the decline in milkweed population due to the widespread of glyphosate on GMO crop has been linked to dramatic decrease in monarch butterfly population. And this milkweed is the primary host for monarch larvae, and it does reduces directly impact the survival of the species. Now, last okay, second bit to the last, the impact on the soil microbial communities. As as the soil is, it has its own community. The way we have human community, animal community, plants community, soil has its own community, and it has a microbial community. Now, GMO has been research has shown that they can alter the composition of the soil microbial community, which are very critical for nutrient cycling and even the plant health. Now, the introduction of novel protein and the increased use of certain chemicals will definitely disrupt this community. And research has shown that, like the example of the BT resistant crop maize that I mentioned, research has shown that it can affect the abundance of soil microorganism and also affect the soil fertility and the long-term health. And lastly, one of the points that we should look at and we should be conscious of is the disruption of the ecosystem interaction. Now, like I've mentioned, the insects, the food web is interconnected. The eagles or the butterfly or their pollinators, they feed on a particular flower. Sometimes they carry it, and it's like that. The web keeps growing and all of that. Now, all of these are interwoven, and it's critical that we have this understanding that if this comes into Africa, you can imagine and this is one of the things that these people, this need to be talked about. Let me put it that way. There's no
Yes.
people. This need to be talked about. Most of the infectious disease originated from where? As a result of our inaction, or let me say indifference about biodiversity health, about the environment health. We are not interested in environmental conservation. We're not interested in biodiversity conservation. And yes, okay, Ebola came. It's a world problem. No be so. Malaria, whether you like it or not, you are trying to control it from other developed world. Whether you like it, you still have the traces. HIV came from where? And all of that. Now, if this GMO, now imagine when GMO, we do not have GMO, all of this is happening. When GMO now come and the population keep increasing, everything, imagine what is going to happen. This is going to be a great problem. So I could go on and on. but it's just going to be a repetition of words. It's critical to know that the ecosystem, biodiversity, is a very interconnected puzzle. And when we ignore when we look at it, what concerns me about biodiversity, then the health of individual of the world itself at large is at risk. And I hope that other speakers will be able to prefer original solution that can help us in Africa to be able to ensure that the introduction of GMO in Africa be should be discussed and looked into. Now, in conclusion, why GMO might have been developed with the intention of improving the agricultural efficiency, it is essential to consider that it has a very broader impact, negative impact on biodiversity. And this can have serious consequences for the health of our planet and for the health of human beings. And by understanding these impacts, and this is the reason why we're here today, we can make more informed decisions about the use of GMO and work towards a more sustainable future. And then I'm going to bring my talk to a close, and I want to say thank you for listening, and I hope that we'll continue the conversation on how we can protect the planet's biodiversity for this present generation and for our future generation. Thank you.
You know,
Thank you, Adeola. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I was gonna say, Adeola, before Oladele, before Kola goes, you did not disappoint. Everything I expected and more you presented. So thank you so much for that. But as you were talking, again, and I'm going to keep repeating this because I'm urging those of you who don't know or who claim this is not true just because you want to put your heads in the sand, please pick up this book, either The Confessions of an Economic Hitman or The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And he talks about this very thing. At one point, capitalism gets to the point where it moves away from the economic hitman, the men and women that the United States and all its entities send to different places, South America and Africa, to do their bidding to grow their empire, right? Imperialism. Now it's corporate entities, and they are focused on production and not focused. The goal was profit. At one point, the person who, and I'm going to look for that name, who proposed that they focus on profit instead of, and not worry about the effect of the focus on profit on the environment, on our health, on war and all that, but just profit, profit, profit. They gave him a Nobel Prize. Even after saying that, they gave him a Nobel Prize, and they continue to do this. So these are people who are so focused on profit that they don't even worry about what it's going to do to the environment, to our health. They don't care about that as long as they're producing. There's maximum production.
True.
So thank you so much for your submission. I cannot wait to ask you questions later.
Okay, thank you, Adeola. Chioma, before Kola goes, can you introduce yourself, please, my sister?
Yes, I'd love to. I will not try turning on my camera, just a disaster. But it's lovely to be here, and I'm really enjoying this conversation. My name is Chioma Phillips. I am the editor of Msingi Africa magazine and the host of Stories from Africa and Msingi Africa Television, and the co-author of A People Called Africa, Rebuilding the Africa of Our Dreams. And so this conversation here is right within the heart and the passion of my husband and I and the work that we're trying to do for the continent. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this conversation.
Okay, Chioma is also on the co-host today. As you can see, there's three of us at the top there. So we got Emerging Alkebulan, Kumbukeni, and Msingi Africa. So the three of us are hosting this day. It's a collaboration. And this is something we need to want to keep doing amongst Africans. We need to start collaborating. Okay, Kola, you're the farmer in the house. If you want to introduce yourself and just tell us what you feel about these GMOs, how does it affect you as somebody who's a practical farmer?
Okay. Good day, everyone. The facilitators and people who are listening. My name is Nasiru Kola, and I'm a farmer from Nigeria. Agbe Gongon from Nigeria in Oyo State. Yes. So I'm an hands-on farmer, a crude one, and I mingle with all local farmers. regardless of the educational background. Please, if I'm straying from the topics you gave me, please just tell me so that I can always come back. I farm and I live among the farmers. I live there, not that I come from city to farm. I live on farm. Then I come home to spend times with my family and then go back to farm. So I understand the effect of this GMO on farmers, and it breaks my heart when the policy makers are just churning out informations that they don't know anything about, and they never involved the farmers at the local level, who constitute 80% of our food production. Example from India, when GM cotton was introduced, the report was that it created an epidemic of suicide among Indian farmers. They were plunged into debt from high cost of seeds, pesticides, and failing crops. That is enough to evoke rethink on GMO. But no, this is Africa, where we bow when we see anything coming from the West. 80% of farmers in Nigeria, as a case study, save their seeds from previous harvest for next plantation. These farmers, as we talk now, does not even, they might have heard of GMO. They don't even understand what GMO is. Consequently, what they do is either GMO, when they are given seeds, these companies are very funny. They give free seeds to some people. They do some demo, and after the demo, they ask the farmers to allocate like a plot of land for the demo. That will be by the roadside, so that everyone passing will see the yield of that varieties, and they will be tempted to want to try it. So during harvest, farmers decide to take some and keep, and then they replant next year. What follows is a colossal failure. And we've seen people who have, because of that, left agriculture, who have committed suicide, if I can say that, because they got loans ranging from even 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira, that they could not pay back. This is one critical effect, because it's leading to the death of farmers and their well-being. So traditionally, our farming systems developed incredibly. I would like to remind everyone listening, there used to be a breed of chicken in Nigeria called, is a naked neck. I've forgotten the local name, but it's a naked neck. What it does is that it's not hybrid, it's just local. So that breed of birds used the nutrient that should have been used to grow more feathers to grow more meat. That would have been interbred with another one to give us a good beef conformation and other desirable qualities. We have probably egg, but no, we won't. In the last 2 years, I've not seen any of those breeds around, because they probably might have gone into extinction, because some people just decided to bring us a Noila, Croila, whatever, and then we don't have our local breeds again, which are more nutritious, and Mother Nature knows what is doing. Why are the Arabs, are they not black? They have more sunshine than what we have in Nigeria, in Africa. There goes as far as 53 degrees C, but they are still brown somehow. But we are black here. People will say it's because of the hot climate. No. Nature balances itself. So whatever that is indigenous to us is meant to be. And that is what we can thrive on. Any attempt to alter that nature I am not a scientific somebody, so but I'm explaining it in an ordinary man language. Any attempt to alter that nature will lead to a catastrophic end, and one of which is what we are witnessing in Nigeria today, that we are now shouting of food insecurity. No, in fact, if there is any other to use, we barely survive. So it's because and this GMO has been in existence for so long. 2019, I remember I went to Seedco in Oyo State to buy corn seed, and they were saying buy this Monsanto, buy this, buy that. Of course, it was the prices were so high that it was unaffordable for me, and the same way it's unaffordable for local farmers. So what it does is that we are at a disadvantage all round, and the little farmers that decides to keep the local varieties of seed that are indigenous and able to withstand the environmental condition that the it has put us, those seeds, the traditional one, are now being polluted. Take corn for example. You know, there's cross pollination and takers and others. So even if you plant pure local ones here, and there's a GMO somewhere there, then it could still cross pollinate, and that's contamination. The next generation, the F2 first filial generation, and that's a very serious one. I have been trying to have some local fish go as far as about 500 kilometers from where I'm currently located to cultivate just 4 acres of corn so that I can preserve those local fish. And I'm not sure, because I don't have a laboratory to test, I'm not sure if it's already contaminated. So it's a big problem. Already we buy it at between 8,000 and 10,000 naira per kilogram. Next time, when we don't have the local ones available again, and the seed company decides to make it 50,000 per kilogram, and you are going to plant between 18 and 25 kilograms on 1 hectare of land, you know the meaning on
Wow.
the local that is this family. That takes them out of the business forever, and the big corporation comes in. They take up the land, they take up the cultivation, they take up the food, and we are in for it. God save us. So already the farmers in Africa, we have effective approach to seed and agriculture, which are far more environmentally and farmer friendly than the GMO. We try to, through this program, and whoever that has the voice should help us to appeal to the policymaker and the governments of Africa that we are not against any of their policy. We are just interested in living. As they are living, let us live too. Our local crops are the best you can get around here. And we have a very, the crop always big, and they mature in 60 days. Develop all this naturally. Are we back?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Instead of bringing
Oh, yeah.
in the genetically organisms that will now destroy the food systems, and then we probably might have nothing to eat again. And I want to talk about what Madam spoke about the other time. We are having problems controlling weeds on farm, and it's a big, big problem. Farmers are now using combination of glyphosate, gramazone, whatever. Some are now putting baking soda to increase the potency of those herbicides. Of course, I do organic, but sometimes we just have to spray. When you have armyworm on your farm, on your maize farm, you will be forced to spray because there is no other method. Of course, we've used the black soap, the local black soap mixed with water. We've used the neem extract. We've used all those. But these insects these worms are so stubborn that once they die, the next generation becomes resistant to all these treatments. You all remember Tuto absoluta that destroyed the entire tomato production in Nigeria. All of and Dangote goes down because of that. So all these are pointers to the fact that we are not only playing with fire, we are already in the fire burning. And then how to is probably and then go back to the basics. So that's my submission from the farmer's hand.
Okay, thank you very much, Kola. Thank you very much. Chioma, have you got anything to say? Because you haven't said anything yet before we try to bring up Professor Philip. He said his connection is not bad, is not great. So we're gonna give it a try just to see if we can hear from him. But Chioma, go.
No, it's really exciting to hear the story about what's happening on the Nigeria side of things. And absolutely, the push to go back towards what is indigenous, what is original, is what we need to be doing, because what are stronger and what are hardier. Rural Kenya has the same issues. They're embracing a mix of GMOs. And they still hang on in a way to what is original. And so I think my mic is muted. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sis. You're loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, so what's happening is that you're seeing that there is an infiltration, but it's not complete because some people are die-hard passionate about what is original, and they believe that that is what is going to benefit their bodies and their systems. And
Your
they're
sound
happy
did go
to
low.
embrace
Your,
it.
your sound did
It
go
does.
low, Chioma. Yeah. Real quick, just
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we
turn
can.
it up all the way, that's all.
Okay, I might have to shout. My
No,
poor
you're good.
neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the having spoken to, like, I have an uncle who has worked in medicine for decades, and having spoken to him, everything that he says suggests that every single person in Africa needs to cling as desperately as possible to indigenous foods as they can. And that will straight up sort out all the issues, the toxicity, all the inflammation, everything that people are struggling with. So it's really a no-brainer, but people are pursuing profits, and so that becomes a challenge because they want to make money, because they want to feed their children, because the society that has been created depends on the exchange of goods using cash, as opposed to us being able to go back to a system where we can use barter. I can trade education for food using, like if I work with Kola, I can train his children and he can send me some of those skinny neck chickens or some yams. We just have to simplify and be willing to simplify. And that is what is going to keep a lot of people off the radar of taxes and other awkward conversations. But again, with laws coming into place, like the UPOV laws and things to do with livestock farming in Kenya, I don't know how much liberty is going to be left for people to operate. But this is really great conversation. Thank you once again.
Yeah. Thanks, Chioma.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for your contribution. Okay, Professor Philip, are you there, sir? Can you hear me? We are struggling with Professor Philip Njemanze's connectivity where he is. I think it's raining. Professor Philip, can you hear me? Yeah, we had this similar issue the last time. It's like we're struggling with that. Yeah, because I would love to hear what you have to say. Nduku, you want to carry on for a little bit? Yeah, let me just see if I can sort something out, please, if you don't mind.
I fear that my anger is going to lead me to rant. Because right now I just want to burn everything. No, I'm not kidding. Right now, I want to go to Africa and burn all those farms. And I actually, this is what I'm advising everyone. If you can have access to those farms, light them up on fire. I'm sorry. Again, it is a threat on our survival. Burn the GMO farms is what I am suggesting. Yes. I am encouraging our people to do the thing that is considered criminal, but for our survival, burn the GMO farms. Let's burn them to the ground because you had. Even if you as a farmer do not grow GMO, the GMO will infect, let's call it infect, contaminate your seed, and your seed will be the quality of your seed, the fertility of your seed will be reduced, and your seed will become like the GMO seed where it cannot be planted again. So I am telling you right now, burn the farms. I will be burning them wherever I will be. I'm done. This is how we all need to stop moving. We are at war. You're talking about not being able to choose the healthy food that is on your plate. You're talking about having no choice but to eat poisonous food. And we are all sitting here like this is another Tuesday. Burn them.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Can I
We
say
haven't
something?
got, sorry, Adeola, we haven't got Professor Njemanze. So Kola and yeah, Adeola, I think we're going to focus on you two. Okay, Adeola,
Okay.
what would you have
Yeah,
to say, my sister?
yeah. I want to say something about what Nduku said.
Yeah.
Probably because you're from Kenya, and it's maybe you have done a lot of education awareness. I must say, from the point of view of Kola, Mr. Kola, sorry, he mentioned that even some of these farmers doesn't even have an idea of what GMO is all about. Some of them are naive. Some of them are even illiterate. They will tell them, "Yeah, come and collect free seed, oh. Come and collect free seed, oh." So the problem sometimes is not even the farmers. I mean, from what he said, and he said some of them don't even have an idea of what it's all about. They didn't go to school. They don't even know GMO genetic. They don't even have an understanding of what genetic is all about. Not to now being dog of modified. What are you saying? Shall give me seed, let me plant. So I believe from my own perspective, probably because I'm an advocate of education and conservation education awareness. This is what I do, and health awareness. I think probably in Kenya, probably the awareness has already been done, but more in Nigeria, which is my home country. I think the first part, like Mr. Kola has really, yeah, I mean, from the way he spoke earlier, you will know that this one is granted. Is someone that has been doing it for a very long time, and he have an
Ibile.
understanding. Yeah, he has an understanding of his environment. So you understand. So from the way he spoke, I could. When you have practical, it's not the theory, the class, the book, and all of that. So from his own side, maybe he can start. If we can't change, personally, I used to tell myself I can't change the world, but I can change my community. I will start from my community and it will spread to the world. Now, probably he that has the knowledge, you have the understanding, you have the farmers, they don't know anything, but you know better. Talk to them. If after the awareness, if after educating them, they still went, I trust these people. Most of them, anyway, let me talk from the perspective of the outreaches that I've done in the natural places in the wild, in the villages and all of that. When you tell them that, see, this environment is you, don't allow them to come and bring any form of Chinese to come and exploit you. So when you tell the community, when you educate them, they wage war more against the government. It's easy for them to wage war against any external individual coming to their community than me. I can't do it. But when you open their brain, when you trigger them, they tend to fight. I will tell them this is your heritage. If anybody take it from you, you will suffer. Your
Mm.
generation will suffer. So when you educate them, I've seen education work, especially for the people that are less privileged, they're illiterate in a way. But so the first approach, especially in communities and in countries, in cities, in villages where this thing, let's educate them.
Yeah,
Let's create awareness.
I
And
agree.
this is, I believe this meeting is the essence, is one of the essence. I mean, one of the essence of this meeting is to create awareness. Let me put it
Yes,
that way.
yes,
So, starting from Mr. Kola, please, for even if it is 4 farmers, one farmer, that's the way it happens in Yoruba. I don't know Ebola and some other places. When someone hears something, Adeola, my parent will call me. When you are cooking with gas, don't use phone, oh, don't this. From there, you forward to another
Yeah,
person,
yeah, yeah.
forward to
I get.
another person, and they take it serious.
yeah.
So I believe one of the first approach is for us to educate these people. Let's create this awareness. Let's reach out to the unreached. Let's look for opportunities to say how we can put this out there. That, see, this is our heritage. This is our own local variety. It's more healthy. It's more better. See, this wheat that you are struggling with, if you do not plant this type of stuff, you will not see this wheat. If you do not plant this type of crop, this problem will not happen. If we educate, I've seen education work, and I believe it's going to work if we do it. Thank you.
Adeola, thank you very much for that. Kola, do you want to say something to that? Because basically,
Yes,
Adeola, you've
I
sort of
do.
said it in my head.
I do. Madam Adeola just talked about educating farmers. I think about few months back, somebody on this screen has really helped in that education. I was going around the secondary schools in a few of the secondary schools in Oyo town, and then I got 10 students, about 10 now that are so much interested, 10 young ones that are interested in sustainable agriculture. And then we reach out to people and we got encouragement. And we're thankful to the person now is looking at me and I'm looking at him. So I have the joy in telling him that we've moved away from land cultivation alone to aquaculture too. I have done one fish pond behind my house for those young ones, and they are not nursing about 1,200 catfish at present. They are always excited to come in the morning before their school session to feed the fish, and then return later in the evening to do the evening feeding. They are now doing it on their own without my supervision, and they are happy. So the reward is that they get everything, even though they didn't sponsor, but they will get everything. That is to encourage others to come. We're trying to do this because people just have to know. The GMO that everybody is shouting, apart from the statistics they are giving us on internet on paper, none of the farmers in Oyo State, and Oyo State is the food basket in the southwest, none of the farmers that planted GMO has ever gotten 2 tons of maize per hectare.
Wow.
It's always between 300 kg, 500 kg, and at the end they start to swear for everybody that introduce them to the GMO. You know why? Because they can't even finance the requirements, the fertilizer requirements, the herbicide, the insecticide requirement of the GMO. On an hectare, which is 2.5 acres of land, it is required that 8 bags minimum of fertilizers will be used. With all the negative effect on the environment, the cost implication is enough to send away the farmers to the other world. Because the bag is over 30,000. So a farmer buying 8 bags per hectare means he's spending far above 250,000 on fertilization. Nobody has ever done that. All the local farmers do is 1 bag per hectare, which in turns doesn't bring out the much advertised potential of that GMO crop. And at the end of the day, is a failure. Why not leave them with the indigenous one they were using before, where they were getting 2 tons, 3 tons, sometimes 1 ton? But they are still getting something relative and far better than their the cost of production. I do not know where government or how these people get the statistic. It's not just happening here. It's not happening in maize. It's not happening in soya bean. It's not happening in cassava. So when you all will try, I'm just a farmer. I can't educate. I'm not a teacher. I can
You're
only
not
educate at the.
you're not just a farmer, you're a very, very valuable member of our community. Again, you're not just a farmer, you are the front line of our existence, literally. You are growing healthy food. We cannot survive on we if we have no food, we cannot survive. So you are one of the most important people on the planet, one of the most important roles in community. You're not just a farmer. Take away that just and say you are a farmer and own it. You're feeding people.
Yes.
Oh, praise the Lord! I'm not just a farmer.
No,
Well,
you are not
also,
just.
also maybe stop praising the Lord, but that's a conversation for another day.
Continue
I
pressing
was
the
going to
Lord.
say, I was going to say that you're actually in the process of educating people right now, sir.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
what you're
Okay.
doing, and you have a very big platform. And we're grateful to hear from you that the paper is the liar, and the boots on the ground actually are telling us that that whole GMO thing has failed, because even research tells you that that the weeds are getting resistant to these herbicides that they try to force people to use. And what they also don't say is just how toxic the things that people are spraying on these crops are. And they have to spray them. But the farmers themselves are in danger when they use these chemicals on these crops, let alone the people who are actually going to consume it in the end. They and their workers and their families are right in the line of fire, and it's a really dangerous thing to be doing. So they should be getting hazard pay, but they don't even know that they're exposing themselves to cancer causing toxins. They don't know they're exposing their children and their workers directly, and even their animals or animals in the area. Although I'm told that in Kenya, in cow herding areas, the rabbit, in cow herding areas, they don't
Yeah, that's my
spray their
rabbit.
maize.
We have
Do
another
you use
guest, Chioma.
do you use the urine for fertilizer?
I was about to say, Dr. Kola, do you use the urine for fertilizer? Chioma is asking.
No, I use
That
aged manure and my
Chio,
rabbit
It's
manure.
it's rich in nitrogen. It's rich in nitrogen. You
Yes,
should make
rabbit manure
tea
is
with
rich
it.
in nitrogen.
And the urine as well, powerful, and it's great for pests.
quickly, Chioma,
Yes.
as you submit that, Kola, my mother uses, and a lot of farmers in Kenya use rabbit urine, and it helps. So listen to Chioma and look into that. Go on, Chioma.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can help people also, yeah, because it's great. And then one organic farmer here experimented using cow urine as a spray on his maize leaves, the corn leaves, and it actually helps to keep away pests. So if you can get cow urine, like from original cows, not these ones, but a real strong cow, you can get the urine and then dilute it a bit and spray on the leaves. It will keep pests off the leaves. You don't have to use those chemicals.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much, Yoma. Guys, based on what Kola's told us and what Adeola's told us, it's very important. We're doing this to create awareness. Kola, you're not an ordinary farmer. I've got to say to you, my brother. What you've said today basically reverberates around the world. You basically are the boots on the ground. You know what's going on. So you can have all the experts come and talk to us. If you don't have the inside experience, inside knowledge, people won't know. So what you've shown to what you've told us today is very, very invaluable. It's just people can actually hear for somebody who's on the ground, who's actually doing it, and see the detriments of basically the impact of this toxicity on our food. So you're my brother. Once again, I say to you, you who you are. You're not just you are Kola the farmer. So let's put that out there, guys.
Thank you.
You've heard what these guys are saying. We need to move away from these hegemonic controls. I'll say this, and I'll say this on this platform: Africa, Africa, Africa. Following the systems of the hegemony, the colonizers, is not helping us. GMO seeds, as you hear them, these people talk to or tell us, they're not helping us. Basically, what we're doing is basically putting ourselves or putting our liability of our control in the hands of the hegemonic powers. And like Kolas just said, then if we cannot farm for ourselves, then we have to rely on them. And then the multinational companies will come in. And we don't want to go there. This is the plan. For those of you who don't know, there's a plan. There's always an agenda that's leading us to where we're going. They have a plan. They've always been planning you. You guys are not thinking about it. You just want to survive. You want to eat. But the people behind the scenes that have a plan, and they're basically unleashing that plan in Africa right now. So, guys, you heard Kola talk. You've heard Adeola talk. Unfortunately, we didn't have Rutendo here today. He would have said a lot. And obviously, Professor Philip. But, guys, we're going to carry on with the conversation. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. Let's carry on with the conversation. Nduku.
So, for me, and we all talk about have grace. Nduku, understand our people don't know this information. Nduku, be patient with our people. But the more patient I am with you all, the more I'm losing healthy food from my plate. The more patient I am with you all, the more I am at risk of having high rates of cancer. So here's my question. Why don't you all be the ones who are speeding your education instead of me being patient with you, right? Why don't you all be the ones who are getting yourselves together and acting instead of me being patient with you all? Because me being patient with you all and you all not doing what you're supposed to do is continuing to kill us, and is continuing to put us in a place where we will not be able to come back from. So I am putting out a call to actions to all Wana Ubuntu. You need to pick up a book when we say pick up a book, or watch Msingi, for heaven's sake. Watch Msingi Africa, watch Kumbukeni, watch Imagine Alkebulan, just one day, 2 episodes, and you don't even need a book. And then, once you watch what you do, you reach out to a farmer like Kola, you reach out to other farmers in back where you come from, and you tell them no more GMO. And then when we ask you for funding, when we ask you for support, you send whatever you have, even if it is 2 cents. Send it so that it can increase, because we plan, for example, Mbongi ya Ubuntu plans to build a seed bank in Kenya. We need funding. Kola would need the support, as he was saying. He doesn't have the support. So does Adeola, Dr. Adeola, to continue the education that she's doing. She needs gas to travel to these places. She needs somewhere to stay when she travels to these places. And then they need the technology so that they can show these farmers what is happening. So we need funding, and only you can fund us, because these people will not fund us. They are intentionally subjugating us. They are intentionally doing this so that we are dependent on them and their profit making system. Healthcare has become a profit making system for them. Food production has become a profit making system for them. Our well-being, our health, the health of the ecosystem is not a priority. And you all want to just be quiet and keep going as if things are okay. I'm done with you all. I'm done. If I have to do this by myself, no, I'm not even kidding, Chioma. Enough with begging these people to wake up. I'm done. I'm gonna be slapping you and being mean to you. I'm done with grace. Done.
Yeah, go on, Chioma.
Okay, so what you can do if you feel the way Nduku feels about things is, and thanks for all the love that you're sending, you guys, and thanks, Mangu Kalonji. We did not know about this China seed bank, but what you can do is start growing your own stuff in your own little corners, on your balconies, right at your doorstep, things like that. Things that you need on a daily basis, like tomatoes and onions and garlic, you can grow them. And then, little vegetables and stuff like that, so that you start to wean your system off the toxins. And you know what that does is it also means that you're not spending money in the market buying the things that are toxic. And so the farmers will be wondering, how come our things are not moving as fast as possible? So that's a more gentle slap on the wrist, because if they ask consumers, how come you're not buying our things? They'll tell, but you load them with chemicals and we don't want them. We don't want them for ourselves. We don't want them for our parents. We don't want them for our babies. And we want to make sure that our systems are clean. Because if they don't understand things, like we found out that in Kiambu in Kenya, that babies, male babies, baby boys are being born with deformities on their penis. So the urethra is terminating before the end of the penis, either on top or on the bottom, and that's hypospadias or epispadias. And it's common in areas where people are farming using agrochemicals. And this study was done by the University of Nairobi. So it's not us just, sort of talking and trying to sound alarms for the sake of sounding alarms. There are physical effects that are being seen in the next generation of people in Africa. And the thing is that we're being gaslit into thinking that, oh, it's lifestyle diseases, oh, it's the way that you're eating, it's because you're consuming fast food. Well, it can be partly that, but also it's the way that we are growing our food that is beginning to slowly destroy the strength and the resilience of the African body. And so we have to take back control and make sure that we are not giving our money, we're not giving our strength to people who have decided to kill us. Like we found out there's a farmer who grows food that is using, all these toxic agrochemicals that he sells to the market. And then for his family, he has a different place where he grows organic, healthy, safe food for his people. It's a similar way that you will find that these medical doctors will prescribe all of these toxic pharmaceuticals to people, but then they go to natural practitioners for themselves and their families. There is a hypocrisy at play, and that's where you find this whole dichotomy between capitalism and Ubuntu. If we are together as a people, as a family, then let's look out for one another. Don't just look out for your own self. Look out for your entire community, either by not causing harm or by both not causing harm and educating and empowering people. You can do both, or you can just do one. Just don't harm people. So, we have to take control back.
Chioma, here's the joke on that farmer, as Dr. Adeola very well presented. He's doing these two things on the same farm, not realizing that the GMO is affecting the seed that he thinks is good for his family. So eventually the seed he thinks is good for his family is going to have the same traits the GMO has. So I hope that day comes where I'm not even kidding, because this is someone who's doing this maliciously. No, you all want to be nice. This is war. At war, we fight, we recognize our enemies. This farmer is an enemy. So may the day come where he realizes that what he has been doing unto others is happening to him.
It would happen. That would happen. Okay, Adeola, let's run this up. Give us some solutions, please, my sister. Where do we go from here?
Solution.
Yes.
Now, I saw something in the chat, and that's true. You might not be aware. There's a particular country. I did my PhD there. I mean, that's where I did my PhD. I mean, I don't want to use exploit. I don't want to use that word. I mean, they know how to harvest whatsoever thing that they want from any country. The truth is that you might not be aware about that program, that they have a seed bank, but they do. They don't make noise about things that they do. They don't do that. Now, a lot of things that we have, I'm saying this to be able to come to the solution. There's something called illegal wildlife trafficking. They come into Africa or Nigeria. How many of us know pangolin? Pangolin, I know, maybe Mr. Kola will know pangolin. These are very, 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 I mean, based on what they say, it's very, very good. The skin, I mean, the shell, very, very good in the treatment of deadly diseases. And they will do the illegal trafficking. In fact, tons of like 10 tons and all of that, they'll take it over there. They will put maybe a traces, maybe like 2 or 0.0001 gram into one chemical, mix it together, send it to you as medicine, and you will use it and it will work, right? But now the question is, if these people are doing that, and now I don't even know, maybe I have a solution, and now our country or our continent is borrowing money from them to solve our problem, and we are in debt, and we are their mercy. We might talk, we might be crying. I mean, we might say everything that we want to say here. If they continue to have access to steal our heritage, because I do not have the power to say stop. The only power The only power that we have is the local power. And that's what I tell them. See, they are coming to take your pangolin. Now, you are preserving the pangolin to maintain your ecosystem, to ensure that you don't lose them. We don't lose our heritage. We don't lose our biodiversity. Now, just because they are now selling your lands to all of these people to come and mine or to come and do something, they use the opportunity to mine other things, including animals, that is essential to
Mm-hmm.
their. So now the advocacy starts from the locals. Advocate. And I realized that no, this has really worked. That such that when the community rise against, when you buy a land in a particular community and you are not safe, you will run yourself. Nobody will tell you whether
Mm.
nobody will tell you, you will run. If you like, employ soldier, employ this thing. These people know how they do their thing. So what am I saying is that now the first thing that we have mentioned is that in any way possible, educate the minds of these people such that they will be able to wage war at the grassroots level, because there's nothing that is going to happen from up there.
Yep.
That's it. The second point is like like what you have been doing, having a seed bank to grow the seed bank the more and all of that. Now, if you have a seed bank, my idea, if you have a seed bank and the more the seed bank, you don't give it out free. That's the only way you can sustain the seed bank. You don't give it out free. And you let people know the important. We are coming to a point in this generation whereby people, to become healthy, they will start looking for, I mean, looking for good food. I mean, healthy food,
Mm.
using their
Mm-hmm.
life savings, not even minding cars. They are not interested in cars, or at least to be able to eat something, to be able to breathe. That's what I tell them. Destroy your environment, though. The heaven is coming down. Is Yoruba adage. It's not only my problem. When the heaven is, I mean, the sky is coming down.
It's
It's not
falling.
only my problem, it will fall on all of
All of
us.
us.
That's the sincere truth. So now, my my suggestion is the seed bank, the more it grows, the more funding. I mean, when you sell to farmer, you'll be able to, I mean, people that are interested, yeah, so that from there it keeps spreading, and it's keeps. But most importantly, I don't know any other solution is to educate. Thank you.
Thank you, Adeola. Kola, solutions from you, my brother.
Yeah.
For somebody's on the ground, tell us where do we go from here?
I think I should be the one that would one of those that would implement the solutions we are also
Yeah,
talking
but tell
about.
us, and then we can come join you.
Okay. Conscious farmers or agriculturists should make genuine efforts to preserve the indigenous breeds, not only seeds, animals, even fish, so that when these big corporations takes over, we'll still have something to fall on. And people should desist from selling all their lands. Or people who have money and are very passionate about this topic we are treating should endeavor to buy those lands. Um, there's an area in Oyo State along Shaki Road. I will not mention the place because they might be listening. They sold off 90% of their lands to a foreigner. And
Kola,
the villagers,
Kola, on the Ibadan Expressway as well. Just I'm saying this, anybody can hear it. On the Ibadan Expressway, as I was traveling to Ibadan the other day, a lot of the land
mm,
on that road, when you're going towards Lagos, a lot of the on the right hand side is sold to Chinese people. So basically,
oh,
we Africans, Nigerians, are our own problem because we want to
yeah,
belong. We need money. We're basically selling
yes,
sell ourselves out to these foreigners, and the foreigners will buy as much as they can. So we are part of a
yes,
problem. In as much as we're saying all these things, it's not about the trinkets and the big kind of fast hound. There's a more important things to worry about, and that's basically preserving what you have. Because the moment you sold it all out, guys, guess what? They take over, and this is where the problem
yeah.
is. We are basically our own problems. Self hate. Carry on, Kola. Sorry, I had to say that.
Uh, somewhere towards the border of Nigeria and Benin Republic, 10,000 hectares of farmland were sold to somebody and he populated that land with a GMO seeds. The result from that farm testify to my earlier submission that it's never profitable. It will never, the spirit of our forefathers will not let that thing survive here.
No.
Because that 10,000 hectares is a colossal failure. The guy aggregated people's money to buy the land and planted that GMO corn. And he prided himself as the master of corn. And today, he's being wanted by EFCC because he could not pay back the investors. So people should desist from selling their lands and let's continue the agriculture that we are doing. On my home part and the and people that have a like minds, we'll continue to educate as much people as we can. Just as Madam Adeola said, somebody said don't use phone while using gas, and it spread like wildfire. Even those of us that didn't know whether it's true or not, we still avoid using phone where we are using gas. So the same way we are going to spread this, and it starts after this session. From my home, my street, everywhere, everybody I meet, I will continue to spread this. I hope others that are listening will do so. And we will get you organic food. Don't worry. We'll get you healthy food. So you won't have to slap us to get you. Oh,
Sorry, Nduku. And guys, we're not just about talking. Okay, this man that you're looking at here, this is basically one of my missions back in Nigeria. This is basically what we're trying to do, because we just don't want to talk; we have to act it as well. And then, in conjunction with my brother Kola here, he knows I've spoken to him. These are the things that we're going to be doing, because we need to talk the talk as walk the walk as well. So, guys,
yeah.
it's not just about talking; we have to do the work as well, guys. So, we are our own solutions. I talk about this all the time. We are our own solutions. We cannot expect people who are capitalists, who are greedy, self-centered, to help us. All they're looking for is what they're going to gain. And as you know, all around the world, history tells us that the moment they step foot in Africa, they're there to exploit you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there to benefit you. So if you got all the DDDs and all the F on whatever degree, and you think the white man or the Chinese or the Indian are your solutions, you're fooling yourself. We do these programs just to educate and tell people we Africans are our own solutions. And the key, like Chioma said, is about Ubuntu. Ubuntu. We need to work together. We need to stop fighting against each other. Because the more we go against each other, we allow the outsiders to come in. If we're united, they can't get us. So guys, Ubuntu is key. Agbajowo in Yoruba. We need to work together.
Laughing soya.
Agbajowo laughing soya. So this is basically what ancestors did before these guys came to the continent. They knew they had to infiltrate. They need to break us down. That's why we are where we are. So we need to go back to basics. And it starts with all of us on this platform and all the people that are listening. Chioma, before Nduku, you want to go, Nduku, or whoever wants to go? Okay, Chioma,
I'll come after a few minutes.
Okay.
There's noise behind me.
All right. Chioma, in summing it up, my sister.
We're summing it up.
Yeah.
Okay. What Nduku is saying is true. This is a war. It is. There is nothing to be casual about here. We keep saying in our programs that the thing about food and water, they're so personal. It's what you, with your own hand, are putting inside your mouth and it goes inside your body, and instantly you will get a result. You will get feedback. Nobody has the right to tamper with what you are putting in your body. This isn't even a conversation about vaccines. That's a whole other story. Food, just basics, food and water. They go in, they either corrupt or they bless and they benefit and sustain you and cause you to be strong and able to achieve more and do greater. But the strategy with these things that they're introducing will ensure that the human body does not function optimally, which means the human body will be in a constant state of weakness, requiring sustenance using their pharmaceuticals and their fake health care system, because it's not care. So it introduces another line of dependency by introducing dis-ease into the functioning in the body. We cannot allow that. You can't give somebody permission to poison you and then imprison you into another system that continues to poison you, while all of these drain your resources. And if you're a farmer, you can't allow yourself to be used to poison people. We're not even talking yet about how they ask farmers, like in Kenya, to use this coating of Bill Gates called appeal. They don't know what it's made of. It's not food. You can't wash it off. But now people are going to ingest it. But because you packed the food, you're complicit. Please understand that you are complicit in harming, in making people sick, and even causing death if you continue to do these practices. That's how serious it is. And there's no joke about it. Forget the government leaders, the policymakers. They're compromised. They know all these things. They know the consequences. They know what they're doing. Forget them. Us here on the ground, we can't keep harming each other like this. We must look out for each other. And doing that means we change what we're doing on the ground. We have to. If we have to disguise what we're doing by pretending on the surface to be doing what they want for our own safety, fine. But the real thing must be happening somewhere, and we're making sure people are getting the safe stuff that protects, that nourishes, nurtures, and heals, because that is who we are as a people. We are life givers. We do not transfer death or curses or problems or debts to one another. We must be true to our Africanness. We are a people called Africa. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Sure. So here's a thing that frustrates me, right? Chioma.
She knows what's coming.
I know. We have. She knows me well. We have Kamala Harris announcing that she's running for president, right, in the United States. And because Black people are so desperate to have representation, they think that that's the best thing since sliced bread. And on that day, she raises more than $1 million in one day, more than $1 million for a role that won't really help Black people. Because you've seen it. Obama didn't help you. So I don't know why you think you're going to be helped by Kamala Harris. For a role that will continue exploiting Africa. You, Black people who are listening to us today, you donate freely in 24 hours, more than $1 million. Myself, Oladele, Chioma, Kola, and Dr. Adeola are here telling you we want to put up seed banks. It will cost less than $1 million. With $1 million, we can have one in Nigeria, one in Kenya, and one in Bakongo. But you all are going to go back like everything is okay, send your money to Kamala Harris and ignore us. And we'll be here talking about this again. So I'm saying shame on you, Ubuntu. I'm saying shame on you for funding that which does not help you and for abandoning that which will help us all. So here's the thing that we're going to do. Bongi ya Ubuntu is going to build, our goal is to build a seed bank in Kenya by December of next year. We're asking for your support. I am currently jobless and homeless. I cannot do it alone. We are asking you for your support. And by the way, for those of you who want to tell me, oh, you're lazy, you don't want to work, or you just enjoy being on TV, you don't want to work. No, I am homeless and jobless because I held an organization that had hired me accountable about their racist practices. Because I could no longer close my eyes to the reality that was in front of me, that they are exploiting our people, that they are literally taking advantage of our labor and not giving us access. And so I'm shaming you all now, and enough with grace. I don't have time for grace. We don't have time for grace. We literally are risking our survival, and you all want me to be out here giving you time. So no more time. Time's up. Get on board, or you're considered an enemy. I'm sorry, I'm at war. So you're either on our side or you're against us. Peace.
Thanks, Nduku. Guys, in conclusion, you've heard what everybody said. Kola, a farmer, has spoken. Adeola, the biodiversity expert, has spoken. We are at war, and I'm going to second what Nduku said. This is basically war. Basically, it's our survival at stake here. If we don't do nothing, the infiltration will continue, and our health is going to suffer. Africa, Nigeria particularly, that I know of, our health facilities does not exist. So imagine the consequence of all the disease that's going to come. You know, the fallout, how many people are going to die. You've heard what Chioma said in terms of the chemicals, what he's doing to the generation to come. So all these things are death. And when they're talking about population control, this is a big way to control Africa's population. Just bear that in mind. Whatever we're going through on the continent of Africa right now is premeditated. We're at war, but the only people who can save us is us. And if we choose to do nothing and just play along to get along because we want to have the biggest car and the biggest houses and we want to have the DDD behind your names and you think that's living, that ain't living, guys. Living is about looking after each other, working together. Ayoola, Shoya, Ubuntu. Let's look after each other. This is basically one thing that we Africans are not doing. And they know that we're not doing that. That's why they are able to infiltrate us so badly that we fight each other instead of us pulling together to fight those who are working against us. Anyway, once again, guys, we thank you all for watching and listening. Sorry about the fact that we didn't have two of our guests come on, but we're going to try another time to bring them back on because they've got a wealth of information that they're going to share with us. But thank you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, guys. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Russ. I'll see you all soon.
Dr. Adeola, hold on. Oladele, before you close, I was going to say, the best thing that you can do in Nigeria is for the three of you to team up. And I'm glad to hear that you've started it. But Dr. Adeola, join Oladele, join Kola, and build something where you can start raising funds to support the work that you're all doing together. But definitely. And I'm going to push you outside of here for the three of you.
Don't worry, I know you will, but it's going to be done, sis.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.